Today I'm live streaming one day too early because the Necron Codex snippets is coming tomorrow from Games Workshop. However, we've still got a lot to talk about, lots of Necron stuff and some Tyranids. It's coming right up.
Necrons!
Nick speaking, and welcome to this live stream. Hello everyone. I hope the sound and the stream is working as it usually does. It's usually pretty consistent, to be fair, but let me know in the comments to make sure that everything is working. Let's have a look, see who is in the comments. We've got Craig Hoyland. Hello Craig, how are you? We have Mark Atkins. He's in the chat. We have CM Wargames Richard. And of course we have Jar S East Itch. Hello, he says Necrons. Good evening all. Wow, it is May already, and although I say it's every month, didn't that go past quick? Yeah, April. Of course, Easter, had a great Easter, had 4 days off work, quite unusual for me, and played Richard as well during that time, so that was really nice. And a great thing about April for me personally is it's the World Championship snooker on the TV. 17 days of snooker, evening, afternoon and morning sessions, which I do enjoy watching the snooker because I'm a huge snooker fan. Play it once a week, so yeah, it's always good to have that on the TV. However, it hasn't stopped me making videos and doing hobby, which we'll talk more about in a minute. We have Jeff Nagel even, not Nurgle. Where did that come from? Hello Jeff, good evening to you. And we have Juan Louis, says hi, hello, how are you? So yes, we have of course found out that our Necron Codex is going to come out, one of the first ones. It looks like the 4th Codex to come out, and it's going to be around winter time. We're going to talk more about that a little bit later. We've got lots of stuff to cover. This stream may go on slightly more than my usual 1 hour, but we will see. So let's have a look at my notes. So of course Warhammer Fest happened, and no, I didn't go. It's in Manchester, which, I mean, I can get to Manchester. I think it's about 6-hour drive, but I'm very happy I didn't go because I've been watching all the sort of YouTube videos about the event, and it doesn't look like it was a great event. Lots of queuing, not much to do, and quite difficult to get into the room where they did all the announcements anyway, because there was only 1,000 people allowed into that room, and I think there was like 10,000 people there. So I'm so glad I didn't spend my money, and obviously everything was online anyway, so I don't think I missed out on much. And of course I didn't enter any Golden Demon or anything, so yeah, very pleased I didn't go to Warhammer Fest. However, if you're in the chat and you did go and you have a different opinion to what I've just said, then yeah, let me know in the chat. Right, Jar says, everyone who is also excited about leaks writes now Necron rocks. I haven't seen any leaks. Always try to avoid leaks. I enjoy the excitement of the release itself. I don't get excited about leaks. I know they come, they happen, and when they happen you can't help but look, but in many ways for me it spoils things. That's just me. Okay, so let's have a quick channel update before we move on. So obviously the channel, I've been uploading videos, some shorts and some long formats videos, but also I've been doing some quizzes recently on my community tab, and those quizzes seem to be going down quite well. I've got some good comments, good interaction, and out of all of the posts that I do, they get the most views effectively. So I'm probably going to keep up those quizzes, and they are fun, and it's quite interesting to see the answers like stuff that I've done, which I thought was an incredibly easy, simple question, and some people have still got it wrong. So it just shows you, doesn't it? So I'll do a mixture of sort of really easy ones and some harder ones, maybe some really hard ones, just to really test you. But yeah, that's good fun. So I'm going to keep that up. Hopefully you are enjoying them. We have John Gibson. Hello, John. How are you? Tomorrow's Necrons, I hope they show the Silent King. I have a feeling they will, but yeah, we'll talk more about that in a bit. So yeah, I made my, obviously, magnetizing tutorials for the Ghost Arcs, and in the end, of course, I made 3 videos. I made the shorts, like an improvement of my original video, and then I made a slightly easier way to magnetize the Ghost Arc, and then a really easy way to magnetize the Ghost Arc. So now I've covered all bases. I've got a video for pretty much any build that you wish to do. So that's quite nice to have done. So I'm glad that's done. And yeah, I've got some battle reports coming up. So obviously recently, actually, you had the Imperial Guard one. Hopefully enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that game, playing against a different army, and haven't played Imperial Guard for many years. And it was actually one of the first armies that I played against when I first started in the 3rd edition Codex. So yeah, it was nice to play that. So I won't spoil the result because you may not have seen the battle reports. But if you haven't seen it, go and watch it. It's a great game. And I've got another fun battle reports coming up very soon as well. And yes, at last, I have played 3 monoliths and the Silent King in a list. And yeah, it's a fun game. So again, that battle report will be up fairly soon, depending on my schedule, really. So that's a little channel update. Everything's running smoothly. There's nothing else happening really. Hobby-wise, I am painting my 2 Ghost Arcs stroke Doomsday Arcs, and they're progressing really well. Actually, I haven't got that much more to do on them. I have been recording me painting them. I'm not 100% sure whether to do a painting tutorial. It's quite similar to what I would normally do, but I think I probably will do the tutorial, purely because it gives me that, what we call evergreen video. So, you know, one day somebody might search how to paint a Ghost Arc, and hopefully my video will pop up. So I probably will still make a video, even though I'm expecting it not to get too many views. So yeah, that's the hobby update really. I've been 100% concentrating on those Ghost Arcs. I don't tend to flit between projects. I don't have like one project that I'm painting and then I'm building another project, or you know, I stick to one project until it's finished, and then I do a new project. I'm hoping for a D3 plus 3 instead of 6d6 damage. Well, that's interesting. I've got a poll at the moment, so don't forget to vote on that poll, and let's have a quick look, see how it's going so far. We've got 22 votes at the moment. The question: will our random d6 shots d6 damage change in 10th edition? We're currently at 55% yes, 45% no. And I have to be honest, I voted no, because I've got a bad feeling about that. But we will see. We will see. Oh, don't speak too soon. Games Workshop can make it worse. But hopefully they will improve it. Yeah, thanks, Rich. Thanks, Rich. So, yeah. Are we all ready for some Necron goodness? I hope so, because we are going to move on to a different segment, and it's going to be
Necrons
of the week.
Yes, Necrons of the week. Hopefully, did that flash up? Because I didn't see it. Let's try it again. Let's try it again. I don't know if that flashed up. Hopefully it did. Right, okay, so yeah, Necrons of the week. Let's get set up. If you're new to the stream, Never been here before. Basically, this is where I look at some community, Necrons, conversions, paint jobs, kit bashes, whatever it may be, just cool stuff that I'd like to share with you guys, and we'll have a look at them. I usually do about 5 different models. So yeah, let's just set up this. It did work, great. Yeah, I worked out I was on my wrong view. That's why I didn't see it pop up. And I've just right, let me just get set up because I'm in a bit of a state here. Right, we want what view? To be fair, because obviously I went early today at 8 o'clock as opposed to my usual 9, and it was a bit of a tight squeeze, to be honest, getting in from work and having dinner, etc. But there you go. I don't know what you can see. My views have gone all funny, but right, here we go. First Necrons of the week. Let's get on with it. Here we go. So we have this guy, which of course is some form of stand-in stroke proxy for a Catan. And let's have a look. It's by David Christopher Hambling, and he says, I've been working on my latest Catan conversion and he's nearly finished. I'm very pleased with this guy. So he's not quite finished, but he's looking pretty cool, I must admit. I think I've seen the base of this miniature somewhere else, although I can't actually place it. But yeah, it looks really cool. I'm not 100% sure the wings on his back, or whatever, I suppose they're supposed to be wings. I'm not 100% sure where that's from. Is that actually from the Void Dragon, that piece? Could be. He does say it's a conversion, so just trying to recognise some of the parts. It looks like the bottom half could actually be the Nightbringer legs, potentially. If you guys know how this has been converted, let me know in the chat, because I've been really struggling to recognise half of these bits and pieces on here. It certainly does look very, very cool though, that's for sure. Just seeing if there's any comments that might give it away. He just says that it's not a proxy for any particular Catan. I can just use it for whatever he wants to at the time. It's the Slash guy from AOS. Okay, that makes sense, because it looks pretty Games Workshop-ish. But not necessarily 100% recognising the parts. So, okay, if it's AOS, then that makes total sense. But either way, I thought it looked really, really cool, and I like the paint scheme as well. Okay, let's have a look at the next Necrons of the week. There's these guys. These guys by Mark Moskins. And these are basically just little kit bashed scarabs, or as somebody's put in the comments, face huggers. I really like these, and actually I've got quite a few of those backpacks in my bits box, and I'm very, very tempted to maybe convert some of these myself, because I like them. I think they're really, really cool. They sort of remind me a bit of the first scarabs that we had, the big metal ones. You can imagine just one on a base, just representing a scarab swarm. I thought these were really cool. What do you think? Hi mate, cool to enjoy you live again. Thank you, Dermot. Appreciate that. Different, they are very different, but they work. I mean, you can instantly tell they're supposed to be scarabs. Well, I can anyway. So yeah, I really, really liked those. I thought they were great. Okay, next up, it's a monolith, but not any old monolith. The new monolith, and with LED lights. Now, I'm not a huge fan of LED lights, to be fair, in miniatures. I can understand why people might like them, but it's just not my bag. However, if there was a miniature that could definitely benefit from LED lights, it's the monolith. Let's face it, I mean, what a cool miniature this is. I think we've got various pictures. Let's have a scroll through. Get out of my head, Nick. Necron facehugger. I'll just spin the pictures around. I like how he's painted it too. I like the way he's done these like metal sections around the guns, and then the rest is black. Looks really cool. But yeah, there you go. LEDs in a monolith. As I said, I'm not a huge fan of LEDs myself. I think possibly if you were having them like in a display cabinet or something, would be really, really cool. But when you're gaming, usually you've got quite a bit of light. I've tried some LEDs in pieces of terrain, and whenever you play, you put the LEDs on and you can't even see them because it's just too bright. That monolith is inspiring. I agree. It looks really, really cool. This monolith, by the way, is by Luke Bennett. So well done, Luke. Yeah, I think you did an awesome job on it. Very, very cool. Right, let's have a look at the next one. We have Nerdopolis Prime. Hello. Quick channel change, and hello again, old friend. Hello, Nerdo. Hope you're well. We have, excuse me, we have the obligatory Catan, the Void Dragon. This one by Nick Stury. And yeah, very different. And I was going to show you this one because, let's face it, it's pretty basic in its paint scheme, but it just shows you that sometimes basic works really well. I really like the contrast between the black and the sort of whatever colour that is. Is it like a goldy yellowy colour? If I enlarge it, I have a funny feeling, but I cannot be 100% sure, that it could potentially be contrast paint. I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like maybe contrast paint. I've never used contrast paint myself, so I don't actually have any experience. It could just be washed, potentially. But either way, looks really cool and just shows you that pretty simple basic paint scheme can look really, really cool. See, I think there might be more pictures. There we go, we've got a close-up. Would be cool if the monolith were good in 10th. Well, yeah. The main issue with monolith, personally, that I find is, well, there's quite a few issues, but the main issue for me is it doesn't have that fly keyword. It's so hard to maneuver on the table. Yeah, and in my game that I've got coming up, the battle report, I've got 3 monoliths. It's really, really hard to move. There's just 2 pictures there. Vehicle toughness increase might help it out. Hopefully, hopefully. And the last Necron of the week is this guy, a flying Praetorian, and I really like this. And there's some more pictures, and it was this picture here where you can see him flying above the warriors there. Really, really cool. I like this. Now I've got a fair few Lich Guard which are magnetised into Praetorians, but I think if I was ever going to build just a Praetorian unit by itself, I might steal this because I like this. I think it looks really cool. What do you think? Do you like that? This is by David Eustace. There you go. Nerdopolis Slime says, I am fine, thank you, but not as brilliant as you. Oh, you make me blush. Considering your sexy mug. Ho, ho, ho. I don't know about a sexy mug, but I do have an Avatar plastic cup. So there you go. That is Necrons of the week. Hopefully you enjoyed that. I need to keep remembering which camera I'm on because I've got 2 cameras, so make sure you speak to the right one, Nick. So yeah, some very cool Necrons. I love looking at Necrons, so I love bringing those to you. Right, now we're going to steer away slightly from Necrons because if you don't know already, I do actually have 6 other armies, and one of those armies is Tyranids. I do actually have a Tyranid force, and of course Tyranids are in the starter box set, which Richard and I are almost definitely going to buy one each, and we're going to split them a little bit like we did in Domitus. So I'm going to have the 2 Tyranid halves, and Richard is going to have the 2 Space Marine halves. He's got Space Wolves army, so pretty useful. And of course, yeah, I can add these new miniatures to my Tyranids. Now, it's fair to say that my channel used to feature quite a few Tyranid videos at one point. Actually, I had a look. I've got over 300 Tyranid videos on the channel. And it wasn't until around 2017 that I decided to make the channel more Necron sort of focused. I mean, Necrons were my first army. They are my biggest love. But, well, with so many armies to choose from in 40k, I think we all get a little sidetracked. So, yeah, I do have Tyranids. I just need to have a look at my notes. Apologies, everyone. Now, it's fair to say that if I didn't have a Necron focused, It's fair to say that if I didn't have a Necron focused channel, I would 100% be playing Tyranids at the beginning of 10th edition. You know, new models, some cool new miniatures to paint and play with, and I would 100% be playing Tyranids if I didn't have this channel. Yes. Now, of course, Necrons are going to be my main army. They always will be. But there's a strong possibility that I'm thinking about doing some Tyranid content again. I mean, the channel is called Necrons and More for a reason, because I want to have that opportunity to do, you know, other stuff. Now, of course, Richard is also getting quite excited about Tyranids by the looks of it. Indeed, we've just set up to have a battle report where I play Necrons and he is going to play Tyranids, of course 9th edition Tyranids, but I think he's getting secretly excited about this new army, potentially what might be quite a powerful army as well. Now, I'm not thinking I want to play Tyranids because I think it's going to be the latest power. I'm thinking I want to play Tyranids because it's got some cool new miniatures, which I'm looking forward to painting and potentially playing. However, what do you guys think about this? I mean, if I play the Tyranids, no doubt we'll play like the box set, so Leviathan box set against you know, the Tyranids against the Space Marines. Richard and I did that with the Indomitus set. And no doubt if I played Tyranids that probably Richard would play Necrons, and we'll probably switch it around. I mean, the idea basically is to get as many different armies as we can to the channel in the battle reports, because, I mean, you know, Necrons versus Orcs every week or every couple of weeks, you know, can get quite samey. But I'd love to know what you think about this. Tyranids, not Necrons, Tyranids coming to the channel. Not necessarily taking over the channel. I mean, it's still going to be Necron focused, but there might be some Tyranid content. Let me know in the comments box below what you think of that. And also let me know in the chat, because I'd like to hear your thoughts on that. Okay, let's just scroll back up because I did waffle on a bit there. And the new Tyranid model is absolutely amazing. Yes, actually, that's a good point, because I waffled on there without doing what I actually wanted to do. So we're going to go table down. We are going to go table down again, and I am going to change the view to I feel very unorganised today. Right, where are you? Nothing going right. More. Okay, here we go. So yeah, I was going to take a look at some of my Tyranids, because I know a lot of you guys haven't even seen my Tyranids. But there we go. So we've got the Harpy, and this is magnetized. It might not even be the Harpy, it might be the Hive Crone. I can't remember which is which, but I have magnetized mine. So I've got one of each, effectively. I've also got this guy, the Maliceptor, one of my favourite miniatures from the new range. I think it looks really, really cool. It's not the Maliceptor, is it? It's the other one. It's the Toxicrene. The Maliceptor is the other version, and this guy's magnetised, so I can have both options. So let me show you the other option. There we go. That's him magnetised. As you probably know, I do love my magnets. And let's have a look. These are my, what used to be called mycetic spores. I think they're called yeah, I can't remember what they're called now. But mycetic spores, my homemade drop pods, because they never had the miniature at the time. And then we've got some gene stealers. Gotta love gene stealers. There's my old One Eye. And there's, I believe the story is he got a plasma gun to the face, something like that. And that's that, yes. And then, as Jar says, we've got some awesome new Tyranid miniatures, and this is actually what I wanted to look at as well, because, yeah, look at these very, very cool new Tyranid miniatures. Considering starting NIDs with this box set, a small change wouldn't be bad. The Necron Codex will be out of one of the first. You said you don't like it much, coming too early, but isn't better. I'm going to talk more about the Codex coming early later. Can play Tyranids for the channel anyway, and I can take the Necrons against Tyranids. Yep, that's what I was thinking. Craig says it would be awesome. Yes, please give us some bugs. I'd be happy to watch any of your battle reports, as it's good to see other armies in play. Thank you, Aid. To be fair, I'm here for cron content. I would watch what I wanted and skip what I wasn't interested in. And I appreciate that, and that's half of my issue, because the algorithm likes the content to be the same, to bring people back watching and watching and watching. And if you put a video out which doesn't correspond to the rest of your content or what people have subscribed for, then they don't watch and your channel slows down. So my aim probably for the majority of the battle reports, maybe with the exception of the box set battle reports, will be to feature Necrons in the battle report, whether I'm playing them or Richard is playing them. Like, get Necrons in there. Thank you. I've gotten that answer before, I guess. We do. Okay, I think that's Richard that answered something there. So yeah, let's have a look at some of these cool miniatures, the stuff which has got me really excited, which is definitely not those boring Space Marines. Get rid of those. Get rid of those. Oh yeah, here we go. So we've got the winged Tyranid Prime, which actually I do have winged Tyranids already. I've got my homemade Shrikes with gargoyle wings and talons. So I could proxy this guy if I actually wanted to, but yeah, we've got a brand new miniature and he does look really, really cool. And then we've got this awesome looking unit called, what's it called? Is it going to tell me what it's called? Yes, the Neuro Tyrant, which looks absolutely wicked. I'm trying to work out how I'm going to paint these in my paint scheme. Obviously, my Tyranid paint scheme is designed to be like as easy to paint as possible. So effectively it's black, and then I've got the yellow highlights. So most of this will be black, and then obviously the highlights on the carapace Potentially I could do like this a red brain, that sort of section, maybe to sort of bring some details out. But yeah, we've got that guy, and then we have the Screamer Killer, which is an awesome looking new version of the old model. I do have some metal Carnifexes with scything talons already, but yeah, really cool miniature. The details have gone up. It's gone up a level, that's for sure. And then of course we have these really weirdly named Von Ryan's Leapers. I mean, what the hell is that all about? I don't think even Games Workshop know. But yeah, we got those guys there. So sort of a unit of these sort of lictor things. And then we of course have the new Termagants with new Rippers as well. I've got lots of Termagants and Hormagants, but well, you can never have enough, can you? Then we have these new guys, these Neuro Gaunts, which if I remember rightly from the Warhammer Fest stream, these can't see, they don't have eyes. I think these are like a bodyguard unit for this guy here, the Neuro Tyrant, if I remember rightly. So yeah, another awesome looking unit. And then of course we have the Barbed Gaunts, which are not new Bioforce. This is a new unit. I believe they're like a short range gun unit, but yeah, another unit. And of course this guy, the Psychophage, however you say that, Psychophage, maybe. This guy, which is yeah, he's weird, isn't he? He's almost like a cross between some sort of spider, like arachnid thing. I'm not 100% sure I like this, whatever this is coming out. Maybe this is one of his weapon attacks. But thinking about it, if I paint this red, because a lot of my stuff is red, like, let's find one, there you go. So I've got this like red on my miniatures just to try and add a bit of colour, so I could potentially paint that red. So yeah, there's that guy. And just quickly, very quickly go back up, past all this boring Space Marines, to this. And wow, I mean, what a set of miniatures that is. And a bit like the new Necron set that we had, the Indomitus set. All new miniatures. And I have to be honest, I'm very excited about that. That new set of miniatures just looks awesome. And I'm going to have two of those, two sets, and I'll batch paint them all. Build them and batch paint them. It won't be as bad as it might seem, because 80% of my painting is just spraying it black, and then I just do the yellow highlights. So yeah, that is that's got me excited for Tyranids, I have to be honest. Alright, let's get back to my normal camera. Here I am. Hello there. I have been watching Star Wars, of course. I can't forget that it is May the 4th, so May the 4th be with you. But I've been watching Star Wars. I've watched the sequels. I've rewatched the sequels again over the last 3 nights. I've watched one a night, and I have to say I enjoyed them. Yeah, I can. They've got flaws. They've got flaws, but I enjoyed them. You know, for what they were. Just sat down, you know, and watched them. I had fun. So I have sort of celebrated Star Wars Day. Right, let's have a look at some comments. We've got quite a few here. If I can get this to work. I don't like the wing primed, but the Neuro Tyrant, Screamer Killer, and that Lovecraft thing is amazing. They look like lictors. Yeah, I'm sure you got some good tactics being up against them. So much must have given you ideas on how to use them more effectively. At the bottom of the page it says Necrons are next. Yep, we've got more Necron stuff coming up. Don't worry, we are going to be talking about Necrons. Hoped the named characters won't be locked into dynasties. We're all talking about Necrons. Okay, let's finish talking about Tyranids then, shall we? Yeah, I'm going to do some Tyranid stuff for sure. I'm going to have fun, but we will be focusing on Necrons. Yes. Right, how are we doing? Not too bad. Okay, let's have a look. Don't forget to like the stream for me, and if it's possible to share it, that would be really useful. Thank you everyone for joining. I always appreciate everyone who joins the stream, and of course if you're not subscribed yet, then please do so. And if you want to support the channel a bit further, I of course do have a membership area where you can support the channel for just 99p, and I've got 3 different tiers, so yeah, check out the join button if you wish. Okay, so let's have a look at our next section, which is what I think everybody is waiting for.
Necrons Tactical Corner.
Yes, it is a Necrons Tactical Corner, and today we of course are talking about Necrons. We know that, well, potentially tomorrow, I mean it's been one each day, but potentially tomorrow the Codex preview is going to be out, and if you're watching this live stream after that, then there will be a video about the preview, and I'll link that up in the description below for you. So we got the preview, and of course we also know that the Necron Codex is coming out this year, in the winter this year, which actually, to be fair, is a fairly big gap from when this release is going to be. So your initial release is going to be, by the looks of it, June. Let's say by the time everything's in our hands will be the end of June. Now, when does winter start? I mean, in my head, winter is probably going to be sort of October, November, December, towards the end of the year, but I don't know, it's quite a big gap, isn't it, from June. Either way, we are going to get one of the first codices. Yes, Gizmo, please don't make too much noise, guinea pig. We are going to get one of the early codices, and obviously we've experienced this before. Now, I think there's a good thing and a bad thing about this. So the bad thing, of course, is an early codex will indicate that the codex creep is going to happen again to us. So if you're not aware of what that is, basically you get your codex, you get your new cool rules, and then each codex that comes out tends to get even cooler, better rules than you do. And then the next codex gets even cooler, better rules than the previous one. And the reason why Games Workshop do this is because they want to sell the new models for the codices. And then the original codices tend to get a little bit outdated and underpowered. Previously, Games Workshop tried to sort of solve this by updated points, updated rules in chapter approved and data slates. And I'll be honest with you, I'm sure we're going to see this again. And don't be fooled by the free rules, because it's not going to be free. It's going to be free at first. We're going to be able to have free downloads to get started with the 10th edition. But of course, when the codices come out, you're going to be needing to buy your codex. I'm pretty certain of that. And I suggest that the data card things for your new codex, you're probably going to have to buy as well. I very much doubt they're going to be a free download. I could be wrong. I'd love to be wrong. I'd love to be wrong, but I just don't think so. So yeah, free's never free when it comes to Games Workshop. But yeah, so that's the disappointing side of things, especially experiencing it very much so in 9th edition. We had the first codex, And that codex wasn't even really a 9th edition codex, it was like a 8.5 codex. I don't think they really knew where 9th edition was going at the time of our codex release. However, there's still some positives about having an early codex. Now, the biggest positive, of course, is we get our new codex first, well, fairly first, which is awesome because we get new rules. And not only that, we're going to get at least one new miniature. I'm not 100% sure how many new miniatures we're going to get, whether plural was used in that stream. Oh, Jar, thank you very much. He has been a member for 28 months. How about that? I appreciate the support. Games Workshop, I can't make RP worse. Me, end of 8th edition. Yes, yeah, RP. Let's talk about that in a minute. So yeah, we get at least one new miniature, hopefully more. I mean, we've got quite a few choices of new miniatures that we would like. Of course, new Locust Destroyers and new sculpts for that. I really wouldn't be surprised if they used the Locust Heavy Destroyer kit and just swapped out the gun for a different gun to give us Locust Destroyers. I think that's a quick, easy fix. Wouldn't be surprised. I think the thing which probably will happen is the Finecast characters maybe will be updated into plastic. Maybe not all of them. And I also wouldn't be surprised if some of those Finecast named characters might fall by the wayside, maybe go to Legends. Let's hope not. But yeah, new miniatures, that would be cool. I don't think we'll get a new unit. I think we've got far too many units as it is. But hopefully new miniatures to update some of the older miniatures that we've got. And then, of course, as I said, we're going to have this new codex to play with, which for a short while, one would imagine would be pretty good. Because everyone else is going to be using the free downloads, which are basically just sort of stopgap rules. And we're going to have this nice new shiny codex. Now, the Orcs are getting their codex, I believe, in the spring 2024. That means from the winter to the spring, I've got a chance to kick Richard's arse because it's been a very long time since Necrons felt powerful. Actually, the most powerful that Necrons have felt for me in 9th edition was when we were playing 3rd edition mission. I felt quite powerful playing those 3rd edition missions. But no, I mean, all joking aside, I mean, we are going to be pretty good for a while at least. But I think more importantly, actually, the truth is, I don't want our Necron Codex to be super powerful, too powerful. I play Necrons because I love Necrons, not because they're really good on the table. I'll play Necrons regardless of the rules. And that's what you want from an army. You want that true love of your army. Yeah, some players don't enjoy that. Some players just play the hot topic, hot armies, and then they play them for a bit, and the new thing comes along and they change it. That's what they enjoy, fair enough. But personally I don't, and as a long-time Necron player, I don't think I'd actually like to see Necrons be too powerful that everyone else drops all their armies, goes out and buys Necrons. Their Necrons are all at the tournament scene for a few months until the next thing comes out. So there definitely are some positives about having an early codex, and more importantly, it is very exciting. Now, I am hoping that we get a new picture on the codex. I wasn't a huge fan of that Scorpec Lord on the front, you know, that picture. So I'm hoping for a new picture, but we will see. We will see. Hoping for a new Nightbringer. Yes, a new Nightbringer, of course. Definitely needed. New Destroyers, as I said. What do you think? Will we get a new Catan? Potentially a new resculpt. Like Craig said, a new Nightbringer. balance is the ideal for every faction, so player skill is the deciding factor. Potentially, but yeah, if they can get it balanced, that's great. They probably won't. Not totally balanced. I mean, let's face it, 9th edition, matched play 9th edition is probably the most balanced there is. But personally, I find that match play 9th edition has lost its fun. I mean, it is fun from a certain point of view. If you enjoy building to be that competitive, like army, or trying to compete against a competitive army when it comes to playing Necrons. But there's so much to be said for playing fun games. It's like my recent list which I've done with the 3 monoliths and the Silent King. I played that purely because it's fun. It's like that's the army I wanted to play, and I had to go to that matched play game knowing that I probably wasn't going to win. I wasn't going to win. Now, knowing that I wasn't going to win, but the reason I wasn't going to win wasn't because of my army, but because of the way their missions are. And that brings me on to the new mission cards, because actually I think they're going to be good. I like the idea of randomness. I like the idea of turning up for a game and you don't know what the mission is. That's how I like to play. You don't know what the mission is and you randomly select the mission. You both have your armies ready to go and you roll a dice. We're playing this mission. And that's what these cards hopefully will give us, because you know, some people are more skilled at working out how to play the mission, especially if they've got a lot of time to think about it. Now, I feel I'm pretty good at like coming up with tactics and ideas like off the cuff, as such. Not everyone's quite, not everyone's good at that. Not everyone. So some people need time to like, right, this is what I'm playing, this is how I'm going to deploy, this is how I'm going to move, this is what I'm going to attack, this is how I'm going to score my objectives, and they think about it beforehand. I don't always get the time to do that, so I like to rock up, have a random game, and test my skills on the table. Hopefully these new card drawing missions might do that. My favourite mission is kill everything. Yeah, you can't beat kill last man standing. You can't beat him, can you? That's what you play when you first play 40k, isn't it? Last man standing. I love the 9th edition, but the Codex creep killed it. Yeah. Nobody in my playgroup uses objectives. We just put 5 points out and play away for fun. That's great, that's great. And obviously everyone likes to play differently. And we've got lots of options. I mean, obviously there's Crusade as well. Yeah, I mean, I enjoy a competitive game. I really do. And to be fair, the more competitive games you play, I think the more competitive you get, because you have to start thinking that way. You know, when you're building your list, you have to start thinking that way. But sometimes it's nice just to say, forget it, I'm just going to play whatever I want to take and going to have some rolls and dice and have some fun. So that's always nice as well. Okay, so let's continue with this. I've got quite a few things I want to talk about. That was only the first section, which is why I said this might be an extended stream. So we know that 10th edition is going to be simplified, but not simple. Now, when I first heard this, I thought that Games Workshop were going to take what we've got in 9th edition, but just make it a bit simpler. But actually, I don't think that at all. It feels like that this is literally a total reboot of the game. It doesn't feel anything like 9th edition. Obviously, some of the stuff is in there from 9th edition, but actually, a lot of the stuff feels like old rules coming back. So list building now is more free and open, which, yeah, we used to have a force organisation chart before. You had to take that 1 HQ and 2 troops, so then it was 3 of it, everything else. But it felt freer in those days. We got less phases like previous edition. The psychic phase is gone, and now the psychic powers are going to be done in the shooting phase or in the movement phase, like before. You've got universal special rules back. So yeah, like before. Leaders joining units. Okay, not quite independent characters. Where you could join a unit and then you could actually leave it and join another unit. Simplified, not simple. So now it's just a leader. You join at the beginning of the game and they can only be with that unit the whole of the game. We've got battle shock tests, which to me, very, very similar to the old pinning checks you used to have to take. You shot someone with a gun that caused pinning, they had to take a leadership test, and if they failed, they'd basically gone to ground, they couldn't do anything. Vehicles are going to be big again, tougher, open tops coming back, more about that in a minute. And you can pop out and you can shoot, and the Land Raider can sort of move, shoot, and I think they can assault as well, just like the old days. It really feels like the old days. Objectives, so you can't actually stand on top of an objective now. I don't think that was the old rules, but where we used to play with objectives that were basically mini scenic bases, you never stood on top of the base anyway, you always went around it. So again, it's going to feel like the old days. I am liking the new objective system, because I think it just makes the board look more thematic. You actually feel like you're fighting over something rather than just a flat objective. However, potentially movement could be a lot more difficult with these objectives. And Overwatch is still there, but there's going to be able to do it a bit more. Well, it's a CP still, but you could do it in more phases, potentially in your opponent's like movement phase, etc. And as I discussed before, the new mission cards, which I'm actually really liking. Now, obviously, there are other changes. I haven't listed everything, but those are the things which sort of highlighted quite heavily for me. And as I said, in many ways, it feels like some of the old edition is coming back quite heavily. It's like they're recycling some of the rules, but hopefully in a good way. You know, the combination maybe of what they've learnt in 8th edition and 9th edition, and then bringing back some of the old rules from, you know, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th into this. Hopefully we'll end up with a perfect 10th edition. Let's hope so. And of course the assault rules are changing as well, so now you've got to be in base contact, and then it's only models behind that are in base contact with the first row. I think that's going to be a lot better. Consolidation also is going to be a bit different. So hopefully, if first turn assault is there, it's not going to be as potent as it is at the moment, which I don't like. I don't like the first turn assault, probably because I just play against orcs all the time. But yeah, I'm hoping that might be dumbed down a bit. But yeah, that's what was highlighted to me. But yeah, that's what was highlighted to me. Now I want to have a chat about how some of these rules might actually affect Necrons. Now obviously we know we've got the Codex sort of snippets coming, well, potentially tomorrow. But you know, we're just gonna guess for now. The Chaos Space Marine army-wide rule got revealed and looks pretty cool. Yeah, hopefully Ghost Arts get that open top rule. Okay, we'll come back to them. So, what does all this mean for Necrons? Well, list building. As I said, list building now is a lot freer, and of course that is going to benefit the Necrons, especially some of our slots where we have lots of good units. I mean, our fast attack slot, for example, has quite a number of good units. Now, of course, every army is going to list build in the same way as well, so they're going to be able to put all of their best unit slots into their armies, so it's not necessarily going to benefit us over other armies, but it is going to benefit us from the point of view of making different lists, you know, maybe new lists that we've not played before, and come up with a new themed list. I think this is great for themed lists, and personally I love themed lists. You know, there's nothing better than playing a themed list. You know, I want 3 units of wraiths, I want 3 units of scarabs. Oh, I can't take no more fast attack. Well, now I can. Let's have 3 units of tomb blades. Do you know what I mean? It's great for list building. So I like that. Now, leaders joining units. I think maybe this is going to have less impact on the Necrons because our characters aren't that great anyway, and we do need to embed them as much as possible in units. So I think that it's not going to sort of be a disadvantage as such. I think some armies that could potentially be a disadvantage, but we'll have to obviously wait and see. Now potentially the Psychomancer might come into his own here, embedding him into a unit. Maybe he might have some new rules potentially, where we could make a unit do battle shock. Could be quite useful. I mean, the Psychomancer rules are really bad at the moment, and obviously he's got those like psychic type rules which probably aren't going to be there so much now, so hopefully he might get a whole revamp of the rules. We'll have to wait and see. And of course the other thing as well is single buffs. Not be able to buff a unit, like I think, as far as I'm aware, not be able to buff the unit so more than once, only like 1 buff, and you're not allowed to take multiple buffs. So I'm not quite sure how this is going to work with things like My Will Be Done. I mean, that is, I don't know how it's going to work, but it's going to be interesting to find out how this all works. When I first heard about HQs becoming leaders for units, my instant thoughts was the Super Flanks list is going to be back. This is an old list, I think it's from 6th edition, if I remember rightly. We had a big blob of warriors. You had an overlord with mind shackle scarabs. You had cryptics in there, and you had them backed up by 2 ghost arcs, and it was almost impossible to kill this unit. And then when you got into close combat, the mind shackle scarabs took over and hurt your opponent before he could even strike. It was a great list, and I was thinking, maybe if we could like join characters to units, but from what I can tell, you can only join 1 character to 1 unit, so I don't think the Super Flanks list is going to be back, sadly. Hey Nick, glad to catch your stream again. You're getting on a roll with streaming again. Thank you, Ninil. Yes, I am. And talking of that, tomorrow, if the Codex preview comes out, I'm thinking about maybe live streaming it just to get out as quickly as I can. Now, it depends what time the post goes up, because I do have to pick Necron Girl up from school. So I leave my house at 10 to 3, and I usually get home about 3:45. The chances are that the post will go up then, probably. If I didn't have to do the school run, I would probably go live and be live a whole afternoon, wait for the community post to go up. That would have been fun, but sadly I can't do that. So you'll either get like a mini live stream tomorrow, or I'll try and make a video, get that up as soon as I can. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, universal special rules. They're back. Again, I don't think it's going to have a huge impact on the Necrons to some degree. I think it hopefully will make the whole game a little bit easier. But yeah, I mean, in the old days, the universal special rules, Necrons really didn't get many. You know, we were quite a bit dumbed down in terms of the unit choices back then. It's fair to say that the original Necron Codex did slow me down when it came to learning Warhammer 40k, because I hardly interacted with a lot of the rules. Where my buddy who played Space Marines, like, he knew all the universal special rules because his army had them. So I think it did slow my learning curve down quite a bit, playing Necrons at the beginning of 3rd edition. But yeah, universal special rules, hopefully that will just make the game a bit simpler. I mean, that's what it's all about, making it simplified, not simpler. And then, yeah, Battle Shock. Now, obviously, Necrons are very well known for having good leadership. I mean, we're leadership 10, probably one of the best ones out there. So presumably, we're going to get a good leadership in this new edition. Now, Gulliman has a leadership 5. I'm thinking, in my head, when I first heard about how leadership works, in my head I was thinking, I hope Necrons are probably going to be around 5, maybe 6. I'd like to see them lower, but I don't think we'll get lower than 5. Maybe 4 would be great, especially for me, because remember, I roll lots of 1s and 2s, lots of 1s and 2s. So I'm not looking forward to taking Battle Shock tests at all. But yeah, hopefully we get a good leadership so that Battle Shock doesn't affect us too much. Obviously, one way to avoid Battle Shock is potentially take bigger units, because you only take the test if you're under half strength. But then we have to be mindful of the new blast rules, because they seem pretty good as well. So it's going to be really interesting just to see how it all pans out, how the playing field works. Now, vehicles, of course, yeah, open topped is going to be a thing, or at least we're going to have hatches that you can shoot out of. We, of course, have Ghost Arcs, which used to have open top rule. All the warriors inside used to be able to shoot. They stopped that, and I can understand why they stopped it, because I suppose if you think about the miniature, all the warriors that are inside the Ghost Arc, if they've been picked up from the battlefield, they're all effectively not dead, but they need repair, so why would they be able to shoot from inside the vehicle? However, I really hope we do get open topped and we can shoot our warriors from inside the Ghost Arc. There's talk of maybe other units going inside the Ghost Arc, but I don't think that will happen. I think it is a warrior based vehicle, but of course we'll have to see. But even if we can't shoot out of it, we do know that we can move, and then we can jump out, and then we can shoot our gun. So at least we're going to have that benefit. Yeah. Now, of course, toughness is going up on vehicles. We don't know what we're going to get for our Necrons yet, but hopefully we'll get a toughness boost, and it will be very interesting to see how quantum shielding is going to work in 10th edition, because I have a funny feeling that our toughness won't go up an uber amount. I think we'll still be quite low toughness, but hopefully that will be boosted by some really good quantum shielding rules. What they'll be, I don't know. Again, we just have to wait and see, but hopefully quantum shielding rules will be good, along with extra toughness, and our vehicles will be back with no random damage, reduced random damage. Please, Games Workshop. 3 plus D3 is what we want. We don't want D6, D6. We want 3 plus D3. That's what we want, Games Workshop. Please let it happen. Please let it happen. Will it happen? I don't know. Let's see what you think. I've got a poll here asking that very question. At the moment, 64% of you says yes, we will lose our D6 D6 for something better. We'll find out if that is going to happen, but please let it happen. So vehicles, I think, are going to be quite big in 10th edition, for sure. Now terrain, so we've got new terrain rules, and I have to say I love it. So I love the new terrain rules. Yeah, 9th edition terrain, very complicated to the point that you probably don't use half of the terrain rules. And also, from the experience that I had, I made a video all about the terrain in 9th edition, how it was affecting my game. And since that video, and since Richard and I made the changes, I think the game's been much better. It's been a lot better, more fairer. So the new terrain, of course, is going to let us bring back things like flat terrain, because now you can stand in it. So as long as your model is wholly within the terrain, you can get the cover save. And I think this is awesome because it means I can bring back some of my more thematic boards where I have some really cool terrain, Necron terrain, but a lot of it is flat terrain, because that's what we used to have back in the day before before this sort of everything's got to be a building terrain. So I think thematically 10th edition is going to look so much better with the new terrain rules. So I'm really looking forward to that. And the speed of the game. So I need to look at my notes here. Yeah, I think that's basically it. Yeah, I think it's going to make it fairer with the terrain. I think the speed of the game could be better as well. There's going to be less AP, less damage on the table. Assault doesn't appear to be as powerful as it was. I'm hoping the games might just go on a little bit longer, because at the moment, usually the army's wiped out by turn 3. You know, let's have some more tactical play. You know, turn 1 and 2, let's make those more tactical moves. I'd like to see that. However, we are still on a smaller table if you play match play rules, so we'll have to see how that all goes. Now, other stuff that could be big for Necrons. Critical hits and wounds are obviously a thing. So basically, if you rolled an unmodified 6, that's classed as a critical hit, or if it's an unmodified wound rolled of a 6, that's classed as a critical wound. So that clarifies effectively that if you had, for example, My Will Be Done, and you're on a Tesla weapon, that if you rolled a 5 and it goes up to a 6, that's not an unmodified roll, so it's not a critical hit. So I like the way they've brought out these new words. I think it's simple and clear, and obviously it's going to cover a lot of the different books as well. And of course we've got sustained hits, which is basically exploding, and that will be in the profile of the weapon. So again, like our Tesla, a critical hit will be a sustained hit, and then we'll get, so it might say sustained hit 2, so you get 2 extra hits every 6 unmodified 6 that you get. And then of course we've got things like devastating wounds. So they cause a mortal wound on a critical wound, and again that's going to be in the profile as well. So it sort of makes sense how they're doing it. I'm quite liking it, and I have a funny feeling with these new critical type play on words that hopefully Tesla and Gauss are going to get a lot better, especially Gauss. I'm really hoping that we do get something special for critical wounds, or even hits. You know, a critical hit potentially gives you auto wound with a Gauss weapon, or potentially even the devastating wounds on Gauss weapons. That'd be really nice. And potentially Tesla, you never know what Tesla's going to bring. Games Workshop have concentrated on Gauss quite a lot in 9th edition, so maybe Tesla might get some extra benefits, might be pretty good going forward. We're going to have to wait and see. It's so exciting. But what I can tell you, no. We're going to have to, I've got loads of chats to go through. But what I do think is going to happen is I do think that the game is going to change quite a bit in terms of the army composition. I think vehicles are going to be really big. And once again, I think the game is going to go back to the old days of maybe around 5th edition with vehicles. It's going to be either all or nothing. So you either have like a really heavy vehicle army or you have no vehicles. Because if you just take a couple of vehicles, the chances are that your opponent's going to have anti-vehicle armory, and they're going to take those couple of vehicles out. But if you have lots of vehicles, it's going to be harder for them to do that. Or you just nullify those vehicle weapons by having no vehicles. And I've got a funny feeling that 10th edition may go down that route, a little bit like 5th edition, but only time will tell. Let me know what you think in the comments box below or in the chat. Whew, that was a rather long one. Yes, I've gone over my hour, but who cares? We're here talking about Necrons. Right, let's have a quick look through the chat to see what you guys have been talking about whilst I've been waffling on. That was a lot of waffle. Right, I can't go all the way back, but let's go back to here. So, Craig says D6 plus 1 damage. Ha ha. Resurrection protocols. Yes, I didn't even talk about those. That's because I just don't know what it's going to bring. Hopefully tomorrow we will. Oh, excuse me. Hopefully tomorrow we'll get an inkling of what the resurrection protocols are going to be about. But we'll have to wait and see. I have a worry it may be simplified into a 5+, feel no pain. I really hope not. I hope not, because GW have had the opportunity to do that several editions and they haven't. They've chosen to do something else. I mean, there's so many options, isn't there? So many options. I'm not even going to try and guess what they're going to do. I find it weird how Necron warriors have weapon skill 3 without a proper melee weapon. Well, they do have their blades on their guns, don't they? Yeah. Rip their own arms off and batter the enemy with it. Oops, no, that's an orc way. My preview on Gauss weapons. Lethal hits. I hope so. I hope so. I really hope that they bring back some sort of extra good role that Gauss deserves. It deserves it. You guys have been talking quite a bit. Sustained hits for Tesla of 2. I think so. I think so. So you get 2 hits for each 6. That would be nice. I started a Salamander army in preparation for 10th. Very cool. I know what Sallies are capable of. Oh, Salamanders, yeah. I've never played against them actually. I would like to think that the Gauss disintegrator stratagem will be built into all Gauss weapons, and that's been kind of happening for datasheets so far. That is a good point. Yeah. I think that's what it will be. I think it will be auto hits on 6s. Auto wounds on critical hits. Got to get the new phrasing, haven't we? Gauss weapons with the lethal hits ability for me. I did my Necrons gold dry brush with silver. Very cool. Great stream, Nick. What new Necron models do you think will come with the Codex? I'm thinking new characters, get rid of all the fine cast characters and get new plastic miniatures. We've got, I'm just trying to get to the chat. Computer's a weird computer. It's my daughter's computer. Who here painted the Goth rocket? Not me. Amnitic weapons with devastating wounds for me. Oh, the rocker. I haven't. I think Richard did though. I'm painting an angry Marines army using the World Eaters Codex. Very cool. Very cool. Not quite sure what I'm going to do. The Ghost Arcs, I think I'm going to finish them, let's just say by the end of next week, which is what, let's say the middle of May. Have I got time to start painting something else before the Tyranids come? Maybe. I'll have a look in my box and see what else I've got to paint. We'll have to see. Anyway, that was awesome. I really enjoyed talking about Necrons and Tyranids. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream, and I'm sure I'll be back tomorrow either with a video or another live stream to have a look at these very cool Necron Codex previews. I'll see you then.